Brad Williams, XL Prime, count hidden rows in the West region. This one, well, it's going to take us a little bit of effort, but we'll work through this thing. Here we have a hidden row. We have a name, region, count hidden rows. Here we have region West, count all, and then count hidden. Count all is basically just COUNTIF C5, C8, C10. Okay, not a big deal there. This count hidden, this one is a little cumbersome. So why don't we go over to the narrative and we'll start here. In short, you can use a rather complex formula based on SUMPRODUCT, subtotal, and offset to count visible rows. To count visible rows only with a set of data. Here's the formula. SUMPRODUCT and subtotal minus row. Now the subtotal function can generate sums and counts for hidden and non-hidden rows with relative ease. It cannot, however, handle COUNTIF or SUMIF without assistance. SUMPRODUCT can be used to apply both the subtotal function with help from offset in the data set. The approach is described as shown. Here, we're going to break this thing apart. In short, what we're going to do is we have this subtotal, and we're going to use function 103 is used to apply the visibility filter. Subtotal can exclude hidden rows from calculations. So we can use it to generate a filter that excludes hidden rows from subproduct. The issue is that subtotal returns a single number, whereas SUMPRODUCT requires a list of results. The technique is to use offset to feed subtotal. A single reference per row, so that offset will return a single result per row. This will require another approach, which is to give offset a list that contains one number per row, starting with 0. We do this using an expression using the row function. This is equivalent to 5, 6, 7, 8. Right here, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here, and I'll get into this in a second. Here, we're going to be going from right to left in this big old formula. The end result will show up as hidden, count hidden, and from there, we'll figure out what's going on. Here, we have min row. We look at this formula, we have min row. Edit, copy, edit, paste, and we have min row here. What does it represent? Well, min row C5. Here we just have min row. It's going to be 5. What is it? Min row. It's going to go C5 to C8, C5 to C8, and what's the minimum row? 5. We're going to go over here and get rid of that row, so we're going to see row. Row is going to show us 5, 6, 7, 8. Why? Well, because that's what row does. It just returns the row number of a cell reference. And then row is active, so it's just going to go 5, 6, 7, 8 from C5 to C8. We're just asking it to show that information. Then we're going to go row minus row, which is going to be 0. Then we're going to go over here, and here we see this, oh, we have offset. And that's all we're trying to do is set up offset. We have a reference, we have rows, and then we have columns. Creates a reference offset from a starting point. So we plant our flag here. We plant our flag in C5 right here. Okay. Here, and what we're going to do is see we have this subtotal, offset C5. What we're doing is we're wrapping all this in. Subtotal can get this entire list here, which is going to be 11001. If we get rid of subtotal, we're going to have this offset function, offset. So looking at this internally, we're going to go here to subtotal, and let's just take a look here. We have the reference, C5. We're going to have rows, and you're going to see here, if we hit F9, we're going to see rows 1, 2, 3. In here, up here, 1, 2, see, we don't see the hidden row, but offset sees it, all right? It's going to pick up that hidden, and then our columns are going to be 0. This way, subtotal now can go subtotal 103 reference. Remember what subtotal is doing. It's just returns a summary statistics for a series. Subtotal says count hidden, and then offset, F9, is just saying west, south, west, west. What's it going to end up picking up? It's going to pick up west, southwest, all right? And then what we're going to do is pass this C5, C8 equals C10, F9. We're going to pass this sum product. Sum product C8, C5, C8 equals C10. C10 equals west. Does this equal west? Multiply it. So then we have this array, F9, and we're going to go 1, 0, 0, 1. We're gonna add up the west. Count hidden 2. In short, what we're going to do is look at this subtotal, which is 11101. Then this is going to pass off to some product, and it's going to add up whatever's in the west. Okay, count hidden, count hidden. And if I said count non-visible rows, I meant count visible rows in the west region. Makes it much easier to understand. Count visible rows. Count visible, all right, in the west, all right? So we have 2, and in the end, there's a total of 3. This one is, with that offset and the subtotal, makes this a little challenging, but review it, take a look here, work through this offset, and see how it flows. Brad Williams, Excel Prime.